Media Dialogues in 2022.
Hello, on Media Dialogues, the focus is on the great content deluge that's inundating us. Amazon Prime Video has just announced a massive slate of new shows and films for India, as well as a new movie rental service. All of this was unveiled in Mumbai just a few days ago with great pomp and show. To understand the streamer's India strategy and to get a sense of the big picture for the entertainment industry, I'm joined by Prime Video's leadership team. Please welcome Aparna Purohit, the head of India Originals, one of the most dynamic and respected people in showbiz today, and Gaurav Gandhi, country head, a media industry veteran with expertise across both broadcast and digital media, which I must say, he's putting to good use. Gaurav, Aparna, lovely to have both of you in the studio.
Great to be here. Thank you.
Gaurav, let me start off with you. 5 years that Amazon Prime Video has been in India, what would you say are the key highlights or takeaways where streaming is concerned?
Well, our journey of the last 5 years has been about super serving the delightfully diverse India. And I think we've done that with great content across originals, across from India and internationally, great movies, with local products like Prime Video Mobile Edition, with a marketplace model, all of that. And I think what's done for the customers is, of course, giving access to great content, but really from the creative economy of the country has changed a few things. It actually has made content reach corners of the country which otherwise were not getting access to it. Today, Prime Video is watched in 99% of India's PIN codes. Today, 50% of our customers are actually consuming content in 4 different languages. The entire linguistic palette of the country has changed, which has broadened the appeal of all content across the board. It's also given new creators and new talent an opportunity. 70% of our upcoming slate has new talent in it. In fact, 50% of talent in our previous originals that we've launched so far were new. So I think it's given a opportunity to creators, to talent, and of course, given customers access to a lot more content. So that's been great. But if you look back and say it's just been 5 years of this industry and we've been part of this, it's really early days. We're just getting started, in fact.
So just adopting.
Just getting started, right? And I think what's interesting for us is that how customer tastes and preferences are changing and expanding. And we just, playing our part in serving them what they love.
Right. Serving them what they love is a good cue for Aparna to come into the picture. Aparna, what a massive content slate you guys lined up and revealed to the rest of the world. What's gone into making this? What is the programming approach? What is the strategy? What can you tell us about the filters you use to put up such a diverse array of content, and diverse in terms of language, genre, and of course, budgets?
Thank you so much for having us here. Gaurav started it so beautifully by saying that our focus always is our customer, and all our decisions are really customer backwards. We are constantly trying to see, what is it that our customers want to watch? What are the white spaces that exist? What are the genres that are underserved? That, I think, is the starting point. And then, I've always said that for us, the starting point is a good story. Why this story? What is so compelling about this story? Whose favorite show is this story going to become? Is the story keeping the creator up at night? The passion of the creator. Really, I think that is the starting point for us. And like you mentioned, diversity is at the heart of all our decision making. It's diversity of genres, of formats, of stories, of working with both established and newer independent voices in cinema, of working across languages. Because we really believe that good stories just transcend all barriers of language and ethnicity and nationality.
Aparna, I get the passion that's driving the programming approach, but are there any objective parameters that you'll use, whatever you can share without giving away industry secrets, you and Gaurav? What is it? Is it the number of people who are watching something through? Is it the number of new subscribers who come on because of a certain show or movie that you've launched? Is it 2-minute sampling and how many people are doing that? Give us a sense, because there is a lot of interest in how streaming works. So Aparna, and then I'll put the same question to Gaurav.
Let me take the creative aspect of this, this question. What we really look at, what we're trying to do is really become enablers for our creators. Interestingly, anybody who works with us, any of our creators who work with us want to do more and more with us. 70% of our creators come back and create more stories. And that's only because we try to create a space that is that is empowering, that's enabling, and just helping them translate their vision to the best possible way, and it requires investment of time, it requires investment, and we don't shy away from anything, whether it's creating opportunities of doing workshops, getting best talent from across the world to help them in their stories, whatever it takes. So just creating this sort of home for talent where all voices, all stories can breathe. I think that's, for me, the only answer, really.
Fair enough. Gaurav, she used the word investment also, besides of passion, talent.
Yeah.
These are massive budgets,
Yeah.
I'm guessing. How do you make these calls? Any objective parameters that you can share
Of course,
with us?
there are metrics and parameters, some of which I can share, some I can't. But I think the bigger point is for every show, every film, the number of customers it will appeal to and who will watch the series or the film is the first metric that everybody will go to, right?
Right.
So now you could have newer customers, existing customers, and so on, and you could look at content either ways. Not just coming on to the content, but you have to complete watching it, spend time on it, to have conversations about it, recommend to friends, family.
Yeah. So the buzz factor and the word of mouth.
All of that, right? What does it do for you in terms of affinity towards the brand? And how does it connect back to you? The reality is today, 70% of our series have gone to a second season, right? That's a
those
reflection.
are definitely successful.
Reflection, for example, that they're working as an example, right? Then, of course, there's also a whole factor about brand defining shows and that define the service. So there are many of these parameters that one looks at.
So how does content define your brand, Gaurav, given that today Prime Video is not just serving its own content, it's also a content marketplace. So I could come to Prime Video and see Lionsgate, DocuBay, Hoichoi, and on and on and on.
Yeah.
So how does the content that Aparna is commissioning with so much passion create a distinction? Like, how does a viewer say, oh, that's a Prime Video show? Do you think that kind of brand identity is coming through?
Our objective in the country is that we want to be the most loved entertainment hub for customers, which will have the offering from the Prime program and our core Prime service, which comes from all the originals the Aparna and team are creating, our global originals, all the films we license and so on. But we also have our marketplace model, where we actually have our channel partners giving more selection. And then, of course, we launched our new transactional video service as well. We talk about that.
Which is the movie rental
service, right? Now, all of this ultimately is about the same ambition of super serving the customer. Because we know you as a customer love variety of things. And we can give you all that offering and we can create a lot of that ourselves. But you also then work with partners who create great content and offer that to you. I think customers are smart and they're intelligent, they know what they want, they have affinity to the content we create, the Amazon original brand, they also have affinity to the great films that are created and they want to bring on, and they also know what our great partners are creating. But the most important point is it's the show or the film they want to watch, right? That has to appeal to them. It doesn't matter who's serving them at the end of the all.
And content is the brand differentiator when it comes to streamers.
It is.
Not the tech interface and things like
they're all important. But at the end of the day,
it's the story
you're going to
that you
stick
want
on
to
for the
watch.
story and watch and spend time and come back to us, right? We want to make sure you have the most seamless experience, the best experience. You have great enablers to enjoy content for fans like X-Ray and watch parties and so on, which is fantastic. It enhances your experience. But ultimately, you're watching the story.
Let's get a sense of the kind of investment. I do understand that these are all details that are, that are not out there available so easily. But give us a sense of what scale we are talking about. A couple of years ago, in 2019, Netflix's founder, Reed Hastings, was in the country. And he says, we've invested invested 3,000 crore rupees for 2 years worth of content. It was mind-boggling. And, Amazon, everybody knows, has very deep pockets. So give us a sense of the scale we are looking at. Look at the slate that you've announced.
Yeah, I can't talk specific numbers.
I get that.
What I can say is that we deeply invested in really becoming the entertainment hub and the choice for customers and giving them the right content and all of that. And I think I can tell you is, in the last 5 years, we've made investments towards this, but we feel really happy about how things are progressing and the opportunity in front of us. So we are actually doubling our investments in the next 5 versus what we've done in the first 5.
Okay.
So that's what I can tell you about investments. But I think what's also equally important to understand is, what are we investing into? We're actually investing into creating great local stories. We're investing into back into the creative economy of the country to enable more stories to come. The investment should be seen in line with not just about the business metrics, but what it's doing for the creative economy of the country. And I think that we are very happy and humbled to be playing a role in that as well.
Okay. Aparna, let's talk about the movies. I can see a big slate. I can see some originals. I can see some co-productions. And then, of course, the licensing deals that you also have. Are these movies coming directly to the streamer? Is that how they are planned for? Or will some of them, especially the co-productions and the big ones, I can see Ram Setu with Akshay Kumar, will those go the other route, which is theatrical release, then maybe rental, and then maybe streamer, and then TV? How does it work? Give me a sense.
So there are multiple funnels for us to get the movies onto our service.
Yeah.
The first one is, after the theatrical window. It has its theatrical run. We get it on our service, and customers get to enjoy the latest films on our service. We, of course, have direct-to-service films. So, films that premiere directly on our service. And some of those have done incredible, they've been incredible for our viewers, for our, for the creators, for everyone. Films like Sher Shah, Shakuntala Devi, Sherni, Jai Bhim. I mean, they've become really not just brand defining, but I think they've really pushed the overall narrative of storytelling in the country. And of course, we have co-productions, Ram Setu, Niyat. These are films that we are co-producing. They will have a theatrical run, and then they will be watched on our service. And finally, we are now developing our own original movies, and they will come on our service. These are films like Majama. And what I'm very, very proud of is the fact that all of them have a very strong female narrative, whether it is Majama, whether it is Amu that we have in Telugu. Beautiful. We have a film called Ae Watan, Mere Watan, which Dharma is producing for us. So, just day one.
Yeah, I've heard you on another platform talk about how you all have gone out of your way to promote content for women, led by women protagonists, and you also ensure that your creators can access a resource bank, right? So if someone needs crew and especially crew behind the camera, to find women who can fill all the roles that are required. So I found that really interesting, and a lot of effort has gone into that, isn't it?
Yes. I mean, I truly believe that, with more female creative helms, whether it is writers, directors, producers, comes more female characters with more agency, better representation, more engaging plots and themes. And these are small, but I feel very significant steps in pushing and changing the narrative.
Massive,
in fact, Amazon originals that we've released so far, close to 50% of the creators, executive producers, creative producers are women, and at least 30% are directors. And I'm very proud of that.
As you should be. Gaurav, but I want to talk about films a little bit more, because in the last 2 years, we've seen, thanks to the COVID-19 experience and then the lockdown to deal with it, that the movie model and the business model for cinema has got impacted very deeply. We've just heard recently about the PVR Inox merger. So things are changing. Give me your sense of how the movie business will work going forward, given the streamers and their role in the industry today.
Yeah, I think we're very fortunate to have not just a great, very robust film industry across languages, making about 2,000 films a year. We also have a country which loves its movies. So the audience base is there and creators are there. You know, the challenge has been access. So with 9,000 screens for, you know, billion plus population, to access these movies results in the fact that most people are not able to get to see the films in theaters in its early window. And traditionally, TV gave that reach, but much later and so on. What we've been doing very actively over the last few years has been trying to get Prime Video as your theater at home. We've done it in different ways. We've done with the fact that movies could come in theater, with 4 to 8 weeks later come to Prime Video and you can watch them. And then in the pandemic, there was an opportunity, the fact that customers could not get these films and the creators had the films ready. And we had, therefore, to play that role. It unlocked something amazing. What it did was, it gave a chance for everyone to understand that the films on streaming and films on theater are not different. You can't compare, you can't say that this is a smaller film or a bigger film. We've released about 60 odd films, 58 or 60 movies right now in this period. Direct to consumer and direct to service. And what that has done is really, you know, tested this model to be able to give confidence to everyone. So that going forward, you have more avenues. India continues to be and not or, even in this case.
You're still saying and not or.
I believe in that truly. And I feel theaters have a role to play. They have an experience that customers go for, and that will go on. And we are very happy to work with the industry on that. We're doing co-productions, which are going to go to theaters. We announced a variety of our licensing partnership slates recently, working with the biggest studios in the country. So we are very happy with that model. But we also believe in movies that will come on streaming. And streaming plays a very important role here. It plays 2 roles. It plays a role of giving reach, unprecedented reach to content. For creators and for producers.
But wouldn't television still be offering the bigger reach?
I'm just coming to that point. I'm thinking what it does, it gives unprecedented reach of a different nature. Let me tell you how it does. In the world of TV, you chose your language packs. You chose, I'm going to watch a Hindi pack and I'm going to watch this. Today, the language barriers have disappeared. Today, when you're watching, you're not sitting and saying, oh, it's a Hindi movie and it's a Malayalam movie and it's a Telugu movie. You're watching a great film. And that's what streaming has done. It's unlocked a content library for you and a content catalog for you, which you otherwise not consider.
That's the difference from television.
That's one, right? And it's for international cinema, it's for local cinema, it's for Indian stories abroad, it's for global stories in India, it's for within India across the board. So that's that. And then today, if you look at the access to streaming and how deep it is going, I mentioned to you, we are watching 99% of countries' pin codes. In the earliest weeks, when the films, you know, have excitement, hype, conversation, people are able to consume that. So we actually believe that the streaming players across the board, and we one of them, are playing a very key role in making our film industry even more vibrant and robust and creating more content.
Aparna, we saw streaming, especially in the last 5 years, give us content which was story-led. You've put that forward out here, front and center, story-led. The script is the star and the hero. And you did have some marquee film stars, iconic film stars. They tested the streaming waters. But by far, the guys who were ruling the roost on the streaming services were fabulous actors, right? Not necessarily stars. They would get front page ads for a series like a Patal Lok, or, so many actors have got discovered because of the series that you all have commissioned. The question I'm asking is, going forward, will we see streaming do what television and the movies did, which is go after big stars and the mass audiences that they deliver?
I think we will continue to remain focused on enabling our creators, casting for the characters. Whether it is really casting a transgender character, and getting this person from the northeast of the country and workshopping and, eventually having her play the role of Chini in Patal Lok. or whether it is getting Shahid for our upcoming role because he suits that character the best, getting Abhishek for Breathe, or getting Pankaj Tripathi to play Kali in Bhaiya, or get Manoj to play Shrikant Tripari. We are going to absolutely remain enablers and only cast for characters. The interesting thing that everybody is now seeing the potential of reaching audiences not just within the country but across countries and territories around the world.
Sure. But this does change the economics, isn't it? When you have a Shahid Kapoor come in to do a role, it will change the economics of your movie making, right? And that's an illustration of your show making, movie making. And does that then make you feel the same pressures that television has in the past, or movies and theatrical revenues in theatrical releases have in the past, to get massive numbers?
I think when we commission a show or look at a film, there is the creative assessment that's done, and there is the audience assessment which is done. How many customers will come on to watch it and so on. So there is no doubt there are business metrics on all of these,
sure.
right? That said, I think the point Aparna was making was that we are not starting backwards of saying, I want to cast a star.
Right.
And therefore my budget should be X and my math should be Y.
She's saying the story is still...
It is the story which is going to draw people in. Of course, the great characters, the big stars, big actors have the audience appeal and pull, and that adds and multiplies. There's a multiplication factor there of appeal.
Yeah.
So the model is a little different there, and it's really not building a budget backwards from let's cast a star and then see what happens the rest of it. So it doesn't sort of work like that.
Like that.
And then the other part is interesting also is because the television model is built so much around ratings, which is a little different model, quite a different model compared to the subscription models that we are.
It's a business well.
Yeah, a subscription model, past life, but subscription model that you have, people are coming in and engaging it. And the very interesting point we must always keep in mind is the internet is enabled choice, which is for sure, but the choice means that there is the ability to switch is also instant.
Yeah.
There's so much choice to customers. The quality bar needs to be really high.
Right.
So you really are building story backward.
Got it. Streamers made this case for subscribers and subscription-driven revenues and the subscription model, right? Which television has grappled with and has really been severely challenged by for a variety of reasons. But today, when you hear globally Netflix talk about losing subscribers and actually even suggest that they may consider an ad-funded model or a tier which is advertiser-funded, that's very shocking, right, in the streaming context for Netflix to say something like that. What I'm getting to is, will we see ad-supported? You have something, I think, on Amazon Prime Video as well, or is it with the shopping platform?
Yeah, Mini TV,
Yeah, so I'm saying that will we see this become a factor going forward? And again, will this then change what subscription-driven streaming was so exciting?
We will see a variety of models that work. Customers will make choices of those models. I think all of these are enablers of getting the content to the customer in the right format and manner in which people watch it. The key thing about Indian customers is that we are very value conscious. We're not necessarily price conscious, we're very value conscious. So if you see the right value in the program, in what you're offering, in what you're giving, you're good with that. To your point about changing models and things, I think people will try various models. Look at our example. We have a transactional model we just launched, along with a subscription model that we already have. And then we have a channels model which works that. All trying to, see how customers can get even more ways to access content. And because we're at such early days in the industry, all of these will find its own way.
And also because India demands you to cater to India. Your mobile-only plan is for India.
For
like
India.
It's an India innovation in that
India
sense.
innovation and went away.
So do you see advertising-supported an advertising-supported offering becoming very critical to success in India?
I think it's an option that streamers have used and they continue to use. And they offer the programming there, which they believe is the right programming to be offered. So I think Will the A-Ward model in India remain? Of course it will
Yes.
remain.
Yes.
Will the S-Ward model in India grow? Of course it will grow.
Also, I think advertisers are trying to penetrate the world of streaming, isn't it? So,
but look at the point. Like for an A-Ward model to work, you need tremendous scale, right?
Yeah.
And this country has 500 million streamers who actually access content.
Yeah.
So if your service has scale, then there is an AVOD model available.
That's possible
right?
too.
But this business is also about segmentation, right? You have to. It's not about one content being watched by everyone.
Yeah.
It is about super serving that customer. It's actually about the billion unicasts and not a broadcast to a billion, right? So in that sense, if you are able to get the right segment of audience who loves your content, then they want to pay for it, they will pay for it.
Right.
It's about us creating that content they want to pay for. And customers have paid for movies, they paid for cable, they pay for content. It's not that they don't pay. They just are very value conscious, and rightly so.
Aparna, content obviously is commissioned, the stories you commission is obviously keeping in mind the zeitgeist, the spirit of the times. We are at a time in India where the socio-political environment has been challenging, right? You've personally experienced that at your streamer and yourself. How much does that weigh in when you're looking and hearing stories, when you're casting, when you're doing making creative decisions?
You've just looked at our slate of 41, new shows that we've announced, and there is incredible diversity there. There are all kinds of stories. At Amazon Prime Video, we believe that we need to be compliant with the information technology,
Of course,
the guidelines and digital media ethics codes rules of 2021. It's not a static obligation, it's an ongoing process, and we are fully committed to meeting and working towards that.
Final question to you, Gaurav, and that is, I do know that you have some sports already on Prime Video. I can see women's cricket. There may be more. Is sports also going to be, we are talking in a season of imminent auctioning of the biggest sporting event in this country, the IPL. Are streamers going to be looking at sports rights also actively? Is that something we should anticipate going forward in this country?
We have sports. We have India cricket coming up as well when India team tours in New Zealand. The men's team tours, the women's team went recently. So we have multi-year rights for New Zealand cricket. We have a lot of sports docu-series and all that content as well. And we have globally, we do a lot of sports. I think sports is an offering for customers and customers love. So as we evaluate what we want to get to customers as an entertainment hub, we look at all of these,
whatever they
want, right? And we continue to evaluate each of these decisions on the individual merit and economics. If to your product question about will streamers look at offering sports in general, of course they will. And there's no reason not to in that sense. I think the streamers will have a role to play. We as Prime Video continue to evaluate each of these as we go along, and we have cricket already on, and super excited about that. As India team tours New Zealand later in the year.
Yeah, so the bottom line is there's a lot of entertainment, whether it's sports, movies, shows, that's coming to us. And like Aparna said, story front and center, and therefore great diversity of content. So something for everybody. Gaurav, Aparna, thank you very much for joining me on Media Dialogues. I wish you all a great deal of luck, and thank you very much for tuning in. Catch another conversation that gives you insights into the world of media next week.
Media Dialogues in 2022.